Hi, my name is Rhonda Chapman, and I'm with PolicyLink, a national research and action institute that advances racial and economic equity by lifting up what works. And I'm here to share some thoughts on children's health, particularly as it relates to safe drinking water. In partnership with the Gulf Coast Center for Law and Policy, PolicyLink has the honor of organizing the National Water Equity and Climate Resilience Caucus, made up of frontline communities and supporters from around the country. The caucus puts Black, Indigenous, and people of color-led organizations at the center of its work because those communities are the closest to the problems of historic injustice and inequity. We work directly with key legislative teams on Capitol Hill to educate them on water and climate initiatives that require appropriate funding and attention. Conditions such as water affordability, workforce investments, climate impacts like drought and flooding. And our water warriors stand firm in the truth that everyone has a right to safe drinking water, and that right begins at birth. We are really happy to partner with Children's Environmental Health Network on this very important day as cities and towns throughout the United States and around the globe are fighting to protect their children. Fighting because we have an obligation to secure our children's future and their ability to thrive in a clean environment with safe drinking water. Did you know that cities such as Newark, Chicago, Baltimore, Milwaukee, and others still have water contaminated with lead in their homes? And this is through no fault of the families. This is due to aging water infrastructure and a lack of investment from local, state, and federal governments. In fact, in 2019, the state of Maryland found elevated levels of lead in the water from 519 school drinking water fountains. That included 55 schools in Baltimore City, which has been relying on bottled water for over a decade because there was a ban on drinking water from the fountains. And that is unsustainable, it's costly, it's unfair, and it's unjust. And by the way, Flint still doesn't have water. And it's been 6 years since the first boiled water advisory went out after the water was discovered to be so dangerously contaminated due to bad infrastructure and inadequate treatment. There are people in Flint who are experiencing migraine headaches, seizures, and stress disorders, including children. Unlike many of the hazards we might be able to see or smell, maybe hear, lead in water comes with few warnings. There has no distinct odor or taste, and many of us make the assumption that the water coming from our drinking systems is safe, but that's not always the case. Despite lead level measurements that have been deemed safe, the truth of the matter is no lead is the best option. Even low levels of lead in children's bloodstreams have been shown to hinder their physical and intellectual development. When children consume lead, it gets distributed to the brain, to their liver, to their kidneys, to their bones, and it doesn't leave. It has a cumulative impact over their lifetime. So what can you do? You can join the Children's Environmental Health Network. You can contact your local, state, federal representatives and demand that they invest in safe and affordable drinking water. And to start by replacing all of the lead water pipes that are delivering contaminated water to the homes of families and the institutions that support them. Water is a human right, and that right truly does begin at birth.